The doors to the Viridian Tea House are open once more. Hello everyone, brand new video. So before I begin, I just want to give a big shout out to Odyssey Beer Works in Arvada for a wonderful May the 4th Spring Makers Market. I truly had a lot of fun and my Desert Cantina liquid turned out to be quite a success. So I will be adding it to my store's permanent inventory. I do have some sampler bags, so if you check within the next hour or so, the sampler bag should be available on my website, viridianteacompany.com, and you can purchase it to your heart's content. So many thanks, Odyssey Beer Works, for last Saturday. That was truly a fantastic time. So I've got some incredible books, I got some delicious tea to talk about, and this beautiful scarf made with beach yarn. That's the name of the color. I don't know how long I've been working on this, but when I first started working with it, I thought this is going to be beautiful. And the camera is not really doing it justice for the color, but it is beautiful. So I am so glad that this is now my 5th scarf that I have completed. And my next step is to work on a hat. So I got to get the proper accessories, but I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, this was it is a beautiful, beautiful scarf. So very proud of myself. Love knitting. I really love knitting. All right, so let's get to the books. So the first book, I just have to say, and I'm going to tag the author on this video, Caitlin, if you're watching this, Caitlin Macy, I adore your books. I really, truly do. I don't know how you're able to turn that phrase so well, but I adore your books. And this one, A Blind Corner, Stories by Caitlin Macy, did not disappoint me at all. So let me read the dust jacket for you. Let's see. In an era of hot takes and easy generalizations, this collection reclaims the absurdities and paradoxes of real life from the American fantasy of niceness. In A Blind Corner, human desires and fatal blind spots trump convenient social media-driven narratives that would sort us into neat boxes, insider or outsider, good or bad, with us or against us. Time and again, whether at home or in the classic role of Americans abroad, Caitlin Macy's characters see their good intentions turn awry. A mother who tries to do a kindness for an underprivileged child sees it go horribly wrong. A young wife attempting to be hospitable to a friend's strange ex-boyfriend finds herself in a compromising situation. And in the title story, a newlywed fancies herself a Euro sophisticate until an accident reminds her just how truly American she is. In tales where embarrassing, shocking, and sometimes even brutal events strip characters of their most cherished beliefs, Macy forgoes easy moralization in favor of uncomfortable truths that reveal the complexity of what it means to be human. And about the author, she's the author of Mrs., The Fundamentals of Play, and Spoiled, and the recipient of an O. Henry Prize. Her work has been published in The New Yorker and in the New York Times Magazine. She lives in New York City. But yes, so let me back up a little bit. At first, I did not like this book at all. I really didn't. I thought, I don't like any of these characters, and they're trying to be nice, and it's just going wrong. It's just blowing up in their faces, and their niceness, thinking that the world is so perfect and wonderful, and surely people understand because I'm just trying to be a nice American. And every single time it just went wrong. And then that's when it hit me. That's exactly what she was trying to write. And in that case, it went perfectly well. And I loved the book. And actually, there were 2 parts that I underlined that I wanted to read to y'all. Let's see, 147. Okay, this is from the story Residents Only. Let's see. A sudden gust from the ocean rustled the trees below, and I laughed so as not to show I was trembling. The first night in the tropics is a bit frightening, I find. It takes a day or 2 to shake off the feeling that you have done something wrong, that the case with which you exchange filthy streets of slush and mounds of trash-strewn ice for hot sand, warm breezes, and the smell of honeysuckle is akin to committing a crime, and that punishments will ensue, even if they are dilatory and not obvious. I don't know what it was about that passage, but I actually underlined it. So this is my copy, but I underlined it and I thought, there's certain writers that they write something and you have to read it 3 times to let it just really sink in, and then you adore it. And this is one of the phrases that I adore by her. The other one comes from the story. Okay, this one is from The Little Rats, which is the final story in the collection. As for Robert, he did write to her, not once but twice. Hannah destroyed the postcards, not only to hide them from Jan, but also because she was unwilling to try to reconcile the embarrassingly stilted prose with the walk in the park, with the second occasion when the two of them had hung out by themselves, eating chocolate in a square near Dominique's apartment. Chocolate that he had kissed off of her fingers, embarrassing her, then making her feel annoyed at herself that she was embarrassed. What could she tell him? That word had gotten out among the girls and trickled down to the boys that Hannah Beale had a French boyfriend? That because of this, she felt Fred Standish's eyes on her at the Turners' party, that he'd sought her out, confided in her, then told her at the May dance, when truthfully she found it rather boring, that she was the only one who actually understood him. Should she have told him that she thought of him in the moment that Marty Biddle made a beeline across the gym to her as Stairway to Heaven started, the slow dance that closed every Lincoln dance? Acceptable she was now, apparently. She would have thanked him if she could have. So I love how Caitlin Macy writes phrases and sentences. There were many more that I forgot to underline, but they just stuck with me and they lingered. But this is a collection of short stories where niceness doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. And I have to admit, my all-time favorite story in here is The Taker, that involving the ex-boyfriend coming to stay at a friend's apartment. It really stuck with me because I thought, the nicer she is, the worse the situation becomes. And then I thought, well, of course, because Caitlin Macy wrote it. So A Blind Corner by Caitlin Macy does receive 4 pots of tea from Viridian Tea House. Absolutely adored this book. And I just cannot wait. Caitlin Macy is one of those authors where as soon as the book comes out, I will immediately check it out or purchase it or both or just whatever. I love her work. And if you're looking for a new literary author, I highly recommend Caitlin Macy. So many, many thanks to Caitlin Macy for this book. And I just thank you for it. Rightio. So the second book, not everybody, in certain websites that I've been looking at, going down rabbit holes, everybody's been talking about this as being a runaway bestseller. Oh my gosh, this is a runaway international bestseller. And I just happened to find it at my local branch of Denver Public Library. Many thanks to y'all. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to read it. Yes. And I devoured it. And I got some thoughts. So let me just begin. This is The Enigma of Room 622 by Joel Dicker. So let me read the dust jacket for you. Excuse me. A burnout writer's retreat at a fancy Swiss hotel is interrupted by a murder mystery in this metafictional, meticulously crafted whodunit from the internationally best-selling author of The Truth About the Harry Kéber Affair. A writer named Joël, Switzerland's most prominent novelist, arrives at the Hôtel de Verbier, a luxury resort nestled in the Swiss Alps, for a restful sojourn. Disheartened over his recent breakup and the death of his longtime publisher, he hopes the impromptu getaway will be enough to revive his spirits and jumpstart progress on a new novel. However, his plans go quickly awry. Before long, he and fellow guest Scarlett uncover the hotel's long unsolved murder in room 622. The pieces soon fall into place. Years before, Macaire Ebesner is poised to succeed as president of the largest private bank in Switzerland. Soon, a mysterious counterintelligence operation called P30 takes interest in his forthcoming election, and the bank's board members, including a certain Lev Levovich, Geneva's very own Jay Gatsby. Oh, I never thought of it like that. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense now. Okay. And the sinister interloper, Signor Tornago, reveal that they are not as enthusiastic about the heir apparent as had appeared. Macaire's triumphant rise to the presidency soon becomes a race against time. A European phenomenon, the enigma of room 622 is a Matryoshka doll of intrigue, as precise as a Swiss watch. Conjuring a surprisingly unruly Switzerland, Dicker presents his most diabolically addictive thriller yet, one whose twists and turns no reader will see coming. And about the author, he was born in Geneva in 1985, where he later studied law. His first novel won the Prix des Écrivains Genevois. The truth about the Harry Quebert affair was shortlisted for the Prix Goncourt, won the Grand Prix de Roman de l'Académie Française, say that 3 times fast, and became an instant New York Times bestseller. And about the translator, Robert Bonono has translated over 24 full-length works of fiction and nonfiction, including René Crevel's My Body and I, a finalist for the 2005 French-American Foundation Prize. So, The Enigma of 622. Short answer, read it. Read it, you really do. Long answer, I felt I was cheated a little. I'll be honest. I could not stop turning the pages. But what threw me a little bit was that the storyline went back and forth. At one point you would have present day, then you'd go 15 years before, then you go a week before the murder, then you would have 10 years before, then you would have, and it just kept doing this. And I got confused a couple of times and I was like, okay, slow down, and just, it's like, oh, okay, now we're back on track. It was a very interesting whodunit. I was not expecting the suspect to be whom it was. I was not expecting the victim to be whom it was. But it seemed to take a long time to get to that point. And I understand there was a lot of story to build up on. But I felt that a lot of it wasn't necessary. I felt that a lot of it was just extra information that makes the characters seem to be a little bit more realistic and well-rounded, which I get. And at the same time, I really didn't care for it. And then the final twist of the story really, what's the word I'm looking for? I didn't care for it. I really didn't. I thought it was, I just didn't care for it. I'm trying not to give anything away just in case if one of y'all is going to read it. But the short answer is read it. Read it. The long answer is it took a long time to get there. And then when you finally get to the bitter end, you might be disappointed. You might. You might enjoy it. I leave it up to you. But The Enigma of Room 622 by Joel Dicker does receive a solid, and I always say this whenever I do it, a solid 3 pots of tea. I saw on Goodreads, I'm trying to phrase my words correctly, but I saw on Goodreads where the vast majority of people who did not care for this book liked his first book. They're like, the author that wrote the first book is very different than the author who wrote the second book. So I'm thinking, I want to read the first book. If I can find it through one of my library systems, I know at least Denver Public Library's got to have it. I'm going to read it, definitely, and I will give a review of it in a future video of Viridian Tea House. But, again, short answer, if you like stylish whodunits where none of the characters are idiots, none of the characters were idiots or just breathing out their mouths, this is a world that not too many people get to experience. And as I turned the pages, I felt myself right there. I really did. I have to give it to him. He can write. He really can. I just felt that a little bit could have been edited, and I think it would have really made the story tight. But that's just my opinion. You may read it and think, oh my gosh, I don't know what she was talking about because this is the best thing since sliced bread. And kudos to you. But yes, short answer, read it. The Enigma of Room 622 by Joel Dicker. Read it. I'm about 10% disappointed. Yeah, about 10, 15, yeah. But other than that, I enjoyed it overall. I really did. So many thanks for this book, and I cannot wait to read his other novel. So getting to the tea portion, it's one of my teas. This is Tea Traveler's Blend. This is one of my green teas, and it is green tea, lemongrass, chamomile, spearmint, and hibiscus. And for the green tea, as I've said before in other videos, I tend to use sencha because I like the vegetal, seaweedy-ish taste because it really goes well with a lot of different ingredients. So the Tea Traveler's Blend background story is, so I write tea fantasy, and the overall story is, what if the tea leaf actually became sentient? And you kind of go from there. So my tea realms, it's a part of the other world in fantasy where tea is the ruler, but not really a ruler, but just a deity, a benevolent deity. And you have tea mystics, you have the secretive Hand of Darjeeling, you have the ever elusive Book of Forbidden Teas, which I've written about it so much in different stories that I'm actually going to write the book of Forbidden Teas. I'm really going to do it. And but yeah, so my collection of short stories involving the tea travelers and the mystics and the tea realms should be coming out this year. I'm not sure when, but it should be this year through my publisher, Prose Productions. So if you've ever had this tea and you're like, yeah, it is about the tea realms and stuff like that. I used to have a self-published book of just a couple of short stories. So I gave all those to my publisher and then gave her more stories. So it's all going to come out in one book sometime this year. But yes, I have one bag of the Tea Traveler's Blend in my website, viridianteacompany.com. So if you had this before, or if you want to try one of my green teas, I highly recommend trying it. And I let this steep for about 6 minutes. Usually with green teas, I do about 5 to 6 minutes, never more than 6 minutes. And because of the hibiscus, it is a deep purplish red. So from me to you, a cup of Tea Traveler's Blend. Yeah, I always like this blend. This is one of my favorites. I am definitely getting a nice equal measure of all of the ingredients in the tea blend. None of the ingredients are kind of standing out. They're all just kind of working well together. And plus, I think I bagged this not too long ago. I think it was like a couple of months ago. And the ingredients have had a chance to really mesh and get together. So this is a nice, rich, slightly fruity, slightly tart, slightly minty, very green, refreshing cup of tea. And then afterward, I like how my mouth feels very refreshed. It doesn't feel dry or I'm suddenly parched or anything like that. This is quite nice. And I've actually had it iced as well. And it is absolutely superb. So yes, Tea Traveler's Blend from Viridian Tea Company. I have one bag left on my website, viridianteacompany.com. Right, so before I wish you a hearty farewell, let's do a water, tea, breathing meditation. We just focus on our breathing like always. It's just a few seconds that we take out of our busy schedule to just pause and breathe. So find yourself in a comfortable position in a quiet area. Make sure you have a glass of water or tea with you, and let's begin. And now let's end this meditation with a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Slowly open your eyes or allow your eyes to come back into focus. And now let's have a sip of your water or tea. Delicious. So that's all I have for today. I do want to mention upcoming events where I'll be a vendor. So this Saturday, I may or may not be a vendor with Mutiny Market down in downtown Denver. I should know within the next couple of days, and then if I get in, I'll post appropriately. But I am definitely going to make my debut at the new farmers market in Golden. It is what is it? The Outpost Farmers Marketplace. I think that's right. So that's going to be every Sunday from 9 to 2. I will be there every other Sunday, but this Sunday will be my first time doing the farmers market, and I'm really, really excited about this. So if you live in Golden, or if you're going to be in Golden this weekend, please stop by the farmers market. It should be a lot of fun. So that's all I have. Many thanks to Joel Dicker and Caitlin Macy, to the wonderful folks at Viridian Tea Company, and to all of y'all for watching these videos. I truly do appreciate it. So as always, take care of yourself and each other. Raise your tea mug high, and remember that to drink tea is to enjoy life. I will see y'all really soon. Bye for now.